Hello, hello, this is SEEMOWNAY with a Plan With Me video in my Rhodia A5.grid bullet journal notebook, whatever. Right now I'm using it as a weekly planner and yeah, and a notebook for all notes for lists and stuff like that. I created a October page where at the top, I'm going to add 3 goals, and then I added a monthly overview. At the bottom, I used some of the Cocoa Daisy stickers and washi tape that came in the Cocoa Daisy October kits. In my last video, I said I don't want to set up my planner and I don't want to use pretty things. Well, I do want to use pretty things because I'm creative and I just can't live without being creative. But the thing that I really don't want to have to do is make it usable for me. So if I'm going to add pretty things, that's totally fine. But doing this, I don't really want to do that. I want a planner where I can just dive in and use it right away and not be in the mood and have the time and do all of these things. However, that was actually so much fun. So it's so hard to find the right balance between things that you love doing and between things that you have to do. And I'll just go with the flow. Maybe next month I won't have such a pretty monthly overview. Whenever I have the time and the need and desire to do it, I will. And whenever I don't, then I'm just not going to do it. Okay, so this monthly overview I'm using for all the things that are out of a certain routine. Free days, holidays. My son is going to a school where he has to go to school every second Saturday, baseball games for fall ball league, competitions, dentist appointments, doctor appointments, things like that. Or when we have a break or my husband is out of town, that's what I'm noting in this monthly overview. And now I'm thinking about if I want to mark Halloween in a special way, but I decide no, I'm just going to use my orange pen and trace the square and write Halloween. And now I am going to transfer the weekly setup that I have already used in my spread. However, I find that something doesn't look right, and so I'm counting the spaces and I find that somehow I must have mixed something up, and so I have to redo the whole thing, but I'm not going to make you watch that. So I'm using a pencil to draw the lines between the days. You could definitely use a fine tip pen to do that. I used for the monthly overview, I used a uni pen in 01. I received that from Tokyo Pen Shop a while ago in a pen starter pack that I ordered from their site, and it just was laying around, and so I used that so that it wasn't so overwhelming and distracting from the things that I was going to write in. And now I'm using this Cocoa Daisy daily days of the week washi tape. The funny thing is that it is actually, that's what I think. It starts with Sunday and then it winds off the wrong way. So that's like, oops, you have to unroll the whole week before you can start with the Monday. That's like, whoops. Yeah, somebody designed it and didn't think it through, I assume. Then, so on my last video where I set up my October journal, someone suggested, actually Mira suggested, that I could just use the abbreviations for the days, and so it wouldn't be this big and it wouldn't be as dominant. And that is what I did for this weekly spread. I just had to try it out. And I just added the days of the week. So for Monday is the first, Tuesday is the second. I just wrote it down with my hand. And I did the same thing for the week. I wrote week 40, and then I added a to-do sticker. And what I did here was since I now actually own a Jibun Techo, and I'm copying the weekly spread from the pages there, because that is why I actually started planning in this. I want to use the Jibun Techo next year, but it starts in the first week of December, so I have to bridge the gap between now and December. And so I decided to measure out the columns and the way the times are spread apart and see if that works for me, because I don't want to get used to a setup that I won't be using, and maybe then I'm going to be mixed up and stuff. And so this is all of the setup stuff that I showed you before I did last week, when I had a minute and didn't have time to do a lot, but just I wanted to be creative, and then I did exactly what you saw before. And now it's today, and I had my weekly planning session with my family. I wrote down things that I shouldn't forget. I pulled out this brain dump from September, and then I had several papers, notepad papers laying around, and I was going to transfer all the things that I might haven't that I didn't get to yet onto this October brain dump. And then I transferred my reoccurring task list for my household cleaning stuff, and I checked all the things that I still needed to get done from September. Oops. And I put them onto one of the notepad papers so I could then transfer them onto my weekly to-do list. And that first column, that is my weekly to-do list. That is all the things that I would love to get done throughout the week. And you can see right now, when I'm marking out the things that I didn't get done that needs to get transferred, that I'm not really very successful at the moment. I don't know what it is. I have been on a really, I always feel like it's going up and down in waves, and I have been riding the wave for almost all of September. I was really successful with getting things done and checking things off my list, and last week I wasn't riding the wave anymore. So I'm trying to get back on top and keep the momentum going, so to speak. I'm copying the planner challenge prompts. I added them into one of the lists for October. I have a block schedule, and I just didn't use all of the space, so I decided to add the Cocoa Daisy planner challenge right there. So I had the prompts all in one in the notebook, and I would be able to take them off there for my weekly spreads. I'm adding the meals with pencil because I might not stick to them for all throughout the week. Now I'm trying to mark the time that my kids get off school, which also signals the time that I need to pack up my stuff and get ready for them to get home. I have been journaling in a Hobonichi A6 journal since the middle of August, and I had been doing really well with doing that at night before I went to bed, but somehow, as I said, I'm not riding the wave at the moment. I'm so tired at night. I'm in bed at 9:30, saying goodnight to my kids, going to brush my teeth, and then I'm in my bed, and I just don't have the energy to do anything at night. So I need to move that to the first thing in the morning, and I have been sitting at the table when my kids get ready, drinking my tea and scrolling Instagram and Facebook. And I decided that that time, I will be using that time for journaling. I mean, I sit there and just keep track of them doing stuff and getting ready. And so I could just use that to just dump all my thoughts that I have onto the page. I'm transferring the plans that I have on my computer onto this weekly spread so that I can see where my open windows are. And I already noticed that the hours in the afternoon, I had been using a lot more space for the afternoon, which was more suitable for me because my kids do a lot of things in the afternoon, but I still have some time slots that could be used for stuff. And it's crammed all in this middle horizontal line. So I'm really curious to see how that will then work out when I'm actually using the Jibun Techo. I know for sure that the grid is smaller, and so I'm not as inclined. So even though the hours are more crammed together, here I have dot grids that could indicate half-hour marks, but there the grid is in line with the hourly setup. Does that make sense? But when I was filming this Plan With Me video, I realized that I am usually cutting off my planning with the brain dump and the weekly setup, and that I need to do my meal planning. No, my meal planning I usually do, the grocery list, my editorial calendar, my photos for Instagram, my photos for Project Live. I usually cut it off before that because what I usually do on Mondays is go grocery shopping for the whole week. And if I spend too much time filming and doing stuff that I'm not supposed to do, I'm not really completing my weekly plans. And so right now, I think that I will only film Plan With Me videos if I get them done on Sundays, and I really can sit down and finish what I am doing and dedicate my whole Monday to grocery shopping, because that really does work. It just doesn't work when I want to do a whole Plan With Me video, edit it, voice it over just as I'm doing now, and then go grocery shopping on top of it. Yeah, so that is what I'm trying to say here, is that this might be the last Plan With Me video for a while. Yeah, it's like my priorities aren't right. It's so much more fun to film and edit than going grocery shopping. And that's why I usually do it first thing in the week. But yeah, I'm such a big procrastinator, as you can see, that this needs to stop. And if I cannot just film and wait and edit during the rest of the week, I need to let it go for now. So I used the pencil board from the Jibun Techo in here because why not, right? If I'm using stickers and such, it might be hard to write on it. I haven't actually tried it yet, but I thought, why don't I just use the pencil board in this notebook? I'm showing you here that I use this clip to mark my monthly overview, and I'm done finally. My question for you: are you procrastinating, or are you someone who gets things done when they need to get done? I'm more of the procrastinator type. Leave a comment below and let me know if you want to keep on watching and maybe procrastinating. There are a couple of videos on screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye.